Hello everybody, it's your non-binary pal Gracious TV here, and welcome back to another chill speed paint video. This one is of an artwork that I made a little bit ago, and it is based off of my trip to Portland, Oregon and the Redwoods. We went there over a year ago, and it was really cool seeing the Redwoods. I took a bunch of pictures of it to reference for a future artwork, and I just now got around to it. I did try to make other artworks with this. I did like a little watercolor study in one of my watercolor pads of one of the pictures I took, and that was really good for me to do. But yeah, this is the first full artwork I've made based on that trip. I do like to make artworks based off of places I've been. A couple weeks ago I just made a video where in the background the speed paint was based off of my trip to Tombstone, but yeah, sometimes it takes me a little bit, but yeah, I'm glad that I finally got around to it because I really like how this turned out. And I tried to incorporate a bunch of things from the pictures I took. I believe at one point down the path we found this this log that was turned into a bench, and I thought that was really cool, so I incorporated that here. I obviously incorporated a bunch of the trees. I took a bunch of different perspective pictures in order to get the full tree. They're really big, so it was really hard, but it was worth it because I got plenty of good footage. I even got not footage, but good references, and I even got good reference pictures of the ground and the foliage on there. It was fall when we went, so there was leaves on the ground, which was perfect to make a fall picture, a fall artwork for it. So yeah, in this artwork I decided to include two characters instead of just one. These characters being North, my unicorn satyr character that I haven't talked about since a good few videos back. I made a video about them. I made a speed paint, and I haven't drawn them in any other digital artwork except for this one. So yeah, this was really it was fun to draw them again here. And also a random fall themed pixieling fairy. I've talked about my pixieling race before, but yeah, this one's kind of a design based off of that, and I decided it would be fun to include them here. I was thinking in the layout to include something on the branch in the foreground, and this is what I thought of. So yeah, as you can see here, during the sketching process I decided to color in the sketch, so that way doing the background would be easier. I try to remember to do this, whether it's actually fully coloring it in or even just keeping the shading in mind. I'll sometimes just shade the sketch so I know where the lighting is going to be, but a lot of times I forget to do that. But it makes the whole process so much easier. So if you find that you struggle sometimes with getting things right in your artwork, maybe try doing that in your sketching process. At least that works for me. In this, I obviously used my more painterly style, which is using my sketch brush for line art, and everything else is pretty much the same. And in the background, I also did the same thing. So yeah, very painterly here. And once I was done lining everybody, which took a little bit because there was two characters this time, I did the background as well. I roughed in the colors based off of the colors that I placed down in my sketch. And for coloring in the characters, North and the fairy, I used North's normal colors, and then for the fairy I used very autumn-like colors, very oranges and stuff. However, I did decide to add in blues for some pop against the oranges and reds, because there's going to be a lot of oranges and reds. So I added the blue in North's eyes, which they already had, so that was easy, in the eyes of the fairy, and their wings as well. This ended up working quite well, especially later on. You'll see how I did the shading, and that works well, I think for guiding the eye. I think maybe adding the blue to the wings might have been a bit much. Maybe it was like a bit too much blue there, but I still think it looks good, and it was a good decision to add some pop of a different color rather than all the oranges and reds and yellows, all very warm tone colors. And the blue is still like, it's like more like a cyany blue or like a sky blue, so it's not like super duper like a very cool blue. It's still like a warmer blue, so it doesn't pop out too much. I did use a bunch of decoration leaf brushes. Well, I say a bunch, I used one. It was the maple leaf brush, which I believe is a default in Clip Studio X. EX, I should say, because I tried painting in the brushes myself and I just couldn't get the effect I really wanted, so I just ended up doing that. But I think it looks good despite that. I used them for the trees, for foliage, for like random leaves on the ground, all stuff like that, and for some leaves falling from the trees later on. And yeah, before I did any shading, I made a multiply layer on top of everything and added a dapple light effect. I believe that's the correct term for it, but basically it's that effect you get with light streaming through the leaves of trees, and it's a really cool effect, and I've tried different ways of doing it. I forgot what I did here, but I believe it was like adding a multiply layer with like a purple color, and then using, I believe, one of my textured brushes to like create add glow layers, a couple of add glow layers for the lights, and Gaussian blurred one of them to make it more glowy. And yeah, I really like how that looks. It adds more depth to it and does create that tree light coming through the trees, because that's where I wanted the most of the lighting to come from. After that, I rendered the characters, which was pretty normal, my normal rendering style for coloring in characters. That's what I do. Yeah, it was really fun. I do enjoy rendering a lot. And after I did that, I worked on the background, which I used a bunch of different textures for the trees and the ground. I did stick to like most of the same things, like a couple multiply layers, a couple add glow layers, but then just played around with how different textures would look for different things. And I really like how this ended up looking. I think this is one of the most well shaded backgrounds I've made. What I especially like is how I added in the foliage. I usually have a hard time with that, like adding foliage on the ground and stuff to add some more depth, but because I had a bunch of pictures as reference from real life, it was a lot easier. So yeah, that was fun. That was really cool to do. And yeah, obviously there's some stuff in the far back that I blurred out so that it just creates more depth, and the stuff in the more foreground is not blurred out. And yeah, after that I added some particles to create a particle effect through the lights, where the light is coming from. It's like sun rays and also just like dust coming through the light. And yeah, added in the leaves that are falling, and that was pretty much it as far as recording goes. However, after recording, I did add a couple of adjustments. I rotated the picture slightly to create a more warped effect to the framing of the image, and then I also dimmed down the intense oranges and reds of the picture quite a lot by adding a couple of adjustment layers and a gradient map with some blues, so that it like cuts more through that and doesn't make it as intense. And I'm glad I did that, because I did really like it, but also I was aware of just how intense the warm colors were in this one. So yeah, I'm glad I decided to dull that down a little bit, and that was pretty much it. sure took a while to make, but it was super fun to do, and I'm glad I did it because it was really fun, and I miss working on it because it was really fun to do. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you enjoyed this artwork. It was really fun to create. So yeah, if you have made any artworks based on places you've been, let me know. All of my normal stuff is in the description below. I'll have another video posted this Sunday, maybe actually a couple videos, you'll see why. But yeah, I didn't post anything this Sunday because I had made a lot of things for Halloween and I was a little burnt out. So yeah, but with that, I will see you in the next video. Bye!